let's take a look at this. What we got? This was actually found. My dad found this. It's been obviously left outside for a long time. I remember these. These are quite... I think they still do them. They still sell them on eBay and other places probably. Little 50cc or 49cc 2-stroke mini dirt bike. I remember about 10, 11, maybe even more years ago, my friend had one of these. And we used to rag it around the woods. Pretty cool. He had a yellow one. Anyway, my dad found this in some local fly tipping, and like me, he likes to pick up useful things that people chuck away. Now, it's obviously been sat for a long time, judging by the amount of rust on the forks. There's a lot of rust on the forks there, all the way up. A lot of rust everywhere, a lot of corrosion around the old levers. Rust. And if I can get it to work, I'm going to keep this and have it as a little sort of mess around bike, because my brother-in-law has actually got like one of those, a pit bike he's got, but one of the cheap Chinese ones, you know, the 110cc ones with 3 gears and a clutch that doesn't really work. Anyway, he's got one of those, so this will be pretty cool. I can go out riding and ragging around the streets with him. So I'm going to see if I can get it to work. There's a lot of corrosion on the engine and everywhere, just pure corrosion on every single part. However, the wheels do roll. Nothing appears to be seized up, apart from the brakes, but they do work just about. And the engine does turn over, and it has got compression. So, you know, I don't know why whoever dumped it. It's obviously been sat outside somewhere. Whether it's been dumped and sat there for a long while, or if it was sat in someone's garden for a long period of time and they've just got fed up with it and chucked it out. Who knows? But like I said, it does have compression. Whether it starts, I haven't tried yet. I've literally just bring it in. The tyres are flat. They've got flat spots on them, and that one might even need a new one. I don't know. I'm going to try to pump them up. The tyres don't look too bad actually. You know, usually these things are proper used and abused, you know, but it don't seem too bad. The only thing that I can think, if the engine starts and runs alright, the only thing I can think that might be wrong with it is this clutch, this centrifugal clutch in here, because I had another bike, a DR, with one of these clutches on, and it didn't last 5 minutes. It was absolutely rubbish. So the clutch might not be any good and it might not move. But we'll have a look, we'll see if we can get it going. The first thing I'm going to do is just stick a bit of petrol in it and see if we can get it to start first of all, really. Well, I did manage to pump the front tyre up, but I can't, the valve, all the sprocket and the disc brakes in the way of the valve, and my straight fitting don't fit it, so I've got a bent one somewhere. I'll have to find that. Bloody things, I'm getting fed up with vacuum cleaners, they're in the way everywhere I go. Anyway, I've got a small bit of petrol in here. It's just neat unleaded, so if I can... This is the one that I found in the ditch full of petrol. I filled the lawnmower right up, and this is what's left. It is definitely petrol. So let's get a bit of this cheap oil and stick a bit in. Give it a mixy mix. And then we'll chuck it in the old bike and see what happens. Hopefully it'll work. It won't be that simple though, will it? There's got to be something wrong with it as to why they would throw it away. Otherwise they wouldn't throw it away if there weren't nothing wrong, would they? Or would they? You never know. It might just have not started and it might just need a new spark plug or something. I really don't know. No idea. But give this a mix up. Done! Let's pour it in. I don't usually do things properly and use funnels or whatever. I usually just chuck it in, and if it spills, it spills. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm getting moaned at for not doing things properly, so oh well. These things happen. But it's all going to piss out the bottom. It's not leaking. Ain't leaking out. It's even got an air filter on it. I was surprised to see it had an air filter on it. Well, it ain't leaked out, that's a good sign. Got a fair bit in there now. It'll be enough to get it running anyway. Even if it ain't a lot for it to run for a while, it'll be enough to get it actually running. The old cap back on. I'll let it seep through past that little filter there is. There's a little filter. It's got a little filter on it. So I'll let it get in there, get down to the carb, and I'll give it a pull and see what happens. Alright, so I'll give it a few pulls. There's absolutely no life there. I'm going to have a look to see whether it's a fuel issue or a spark issue. So, first thing, oh, I haven't said that. Doesn't look like there's any fuel in that filter, does it? It isn't to me anyway. I'll see if we got spark first. Spark is always the first port of call that you will go to whenever you have starting problems, because if you ain't got spark, you ain't got nothing. So, looks like a new spark plug as well, doesn't it? What's going on there then? Right. What one do we need? I'll tell you what, it'd be easier if I just get this socket out of here. Rather than look, every single time. This is a bad design, Halfords. What are you doing? Don't know why I buy bloody tools from you lot. Be that one, I would have thought. I don't know. It's going to be the big one, isn't it? It's going to be the big old one. Yeah, only just. That's a funny old size. It's a very funny old size. Hopefully it'll grip. It's a bit big. It's a bit big. Hopefully it'll grip. Yep. If we've got spark, it'll be a fueling problem. I hope we have got spark, because a fueling problem is easier to sort out than a spark problem. Well, they definitely let it. They probably let it idle for a while. They took over, didn't they? Even though they run it really rich. It's not a problem. We'll give that a clean up and then we'll check for a bit of spark. Right, I've got it in a funny position. Hopefully you're going to be able to see if I can do it, pull it without the bike moving and getting rid of the ground. But we got spark. You ready to look? Ready? Here we go. It's a nice blue spark as well. That's what we want. If it's orange, it's a bit weak, but you want a nice blue one. So now we know that our problem is a fueling problem. So now we need to get in looking at that. That old gap looks a little bit too small to me, but I might widen it a touch. I think I will. I think I'll extend that gap just a touch. There we go. It's a little bit more of a Admiral gap now. Don't know what the gap's supposed to be on these. It's probably a bloody Chinese spark plug. JL. That looks like a Chinese blooming spark plug to me. BM6A. It probably is the one that came with it. It's probably not that old of a bike. And because the plug was not out to the elements, it had that rubber cover over it. It's probably protected it from going rusty. Oh well. Let's see what happens. I wonder if it's a blockage, because I can't see any in that filter. I'm going to take the pipe off and see if the blockage is before the filter or in the filter or after the filter. It might even be in the car, but I hope it ain't a jet that's blocked, because that will be more difficult to do. But we'll get around it, because where there is a will, there is definitely a way. Right, let's go have a look. Alright, well, all I'd done was loosen off this little clip here, and the pipe comes straight off, and it pissed out fuel everywhere, so I know it's getting through that filter, and I know it's going as far, it's going at least as far as this tap. Don't know whether that tap's on or off, mind you. If there was an indication, it's rusted over and I can't see it. Anyway, what I'm going to do now, I would have thought that would be on and the other way would be off. You'd think that would be off because that would be the same way and that'd be blocking it off. That's what you'd think. Who knows? It's Chinese after all. But I'm going to take the bowl off and see if we've got any fuel in the carb. If we've got fuel in the carb, then it's probably a jet problem. Let's have a look. Oh, I've taken this little air filter off. Do you know what? A lot of people, they buy these little bikes with these stupid air filters. They come with these filters, by the way, a lot of them, because they look, you know, people think, oh, it's a sporty air filter, it's going to have loads of power. Thing is, they buy these little bikes where the air filter is literally there on the back of the carb, right? Look at the back wheel, there's the back wheel, there's the carb, the air filter goes on there. So you're going to go through some water, they go through puddles and all kinds of stuff. And you can see what's going to happen. There's absolutely nothing to stop the water going off the wheel straight on this air filter. And they muller up their engines because they're sucking a load of water. You know, these Chinese bikes, they put parts on them like the exports and the thumpsters. They look a proper bling like, you know, because that's what people are going to buy, but they don't think with these stupid little air filters on, they don't think, you know, it's not going to work in water, is it? So I'm not going to go through water. They just think, oh, it's a dirt bike, I can go through everything. You know, these filters ain't any good anyway. Load of rubbish. Never put one of these on a bike. Anyway, let's see if we can investigate some more. By the way, it's actually firework night tonight, the 5th of November. Okay, a little bit of an update. I got it to run. It does run, so we know it is going to run at least. I sprayed a bit of carb spray in it. You lot know I like a bit of carb spray. I've had engines running on carb spray for 5-10 minutes before, just while I keep spraying it in. So it ain't good for it, but who cares? So we know it does run. It was off camera because I didn't know it was going to start. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. Sprayed a bit in, pulled it once, and away it went. So we know it is going to run. I'm trying to get this plastic cover off so I can get to the carb properly. I sprayed a bit of penetrating fluid on this bolt on the other side because it was rusted up. So we've got a bit that's penetrating as we speak. So I'm pretty happy that it's going to run. It's just a fueling problem. Hopefully the float's just jammed and it's not a bloody block jet, because they're a pain in the arse to get on them bloody jets. Anyway, let's see what happens next. Well, I just took the little screw at the bottom of the bowl and that's what came out. It's like a yellowy goo. So it's probably been sitting in that bowl for a fair while. So that's what we know what it was. If I turn this tap on now, that should flow out of there. If I can do it with my left hand. Yep. Just flushing that out nicely. That's it, it's coming out red now, so I know that's fresh. Very nice. Nice and red. So I'm going to put my screw back in, then I'm going to give it another go. And hopefully we'll get a fire. If not, the carb's going to have to come off. Not a fire! I don't want a fire! I mean, hopefully it will fire. And then the carb won't have to come off. Oh bloody blimey, what am I doing? Well, there you go. It runs. I got it going. Didn't need to do anything to the jet or anything. It's a bit of a funny old runner, I give you that. It does run, but very strangely. Very bizarre. The idle's ridiculously high for some reason. Even though I've turned the screw down. So I'm going to have a little play with it and see if I can get it running nice. It's a little bit better. Still a little bit up and down though. Like that. Don't know what that's all about. Wants to go though. Might just need a little ride. I wonder if we can turn that down even more. I don't know why that rises like that. I'll have a look. Right, so I've had a play with it. It revs up alright. It's a bit boggy, and it does cut out if you don't hold the revs up after you've revved it, if that makes any sense. But I think it does run alright. I'm just going to give it a bit of a spruce up, try and get that tyre blown up, then I'll go out for a little joyride on it at some point, give it a blowout, you know, see what it's like then. But I'm pretty pleased. I've put that ridiculous little air filter back on it because it's the only one I've got for it, so I just won't go for any water. But it runs pretty well. Do you know what? These are the type of videos I like doing the best, because you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know either. Find something in a ditch and get it going. Turns out to be alright. Nice one. You lot might learn something. Never know. Having said that, if you're watching this video, you probably know everything about how to get an engine running anyway, so there is a problem with these. Thing is, people that buy these type of bikes, these little bikes, they buy them on the internet and they're like, oh, that'll be a bit of fun. They don't know, or they don't care about running the little engines in properly. With a smaller engine, it's just as important to run it in, break it in properly, as it is a bigger engine. Because you'll get problems, it'll be boggy, it won't have any power, because there's no power in these little engines anyway, so if you don't run them in properly, there'll be even less power, you know, in which case it probably won't move. So you'll find a lot of them. I used to have a lot of friends when I was younger, and we used to get little dirt bikes and rag them around the woods and around the streets and all kinds of places. Some of my friends, they used to just go ahead and their parents would buy them a little bike and they'd just get on it and rag it straight away, you know. And then they wonder why 2 months or even less than that, a few weeks down the line, it's got no power and it's all just, you know, my mate had a 4-stroke one and he used to smoke like hell because he ragged the hell out of it from new, didn't break it in, and the rings were bad. So you get people buy these ones off the internet for a few £100, rag them like hell from day one, then they end up no good. That's probably what's happened to this. If the person that bought this one took it easy for a couple of hours, turned it off, and then let it cool down and start it up again, run it in a decent process, I'd be very surprised. But that might be why it's a bit of a bad runner, because it's been ragged. So we don't know yet, but it doesn't matter to me because I didn't pay anything for it. I'm just going to rag it around anyway, so sweet. I've even posted a picture on Instagram. Nice one. I'm going to spray a bit of maintenance spray on these forks just to lube them up a bit. They do work actually. There's obviously no oil in them, they're not oil filled shocks or anything, or forks. They just got a spring in here. It's just a spring, that's all it is. Super Dirt, that's probably what this bike's called, the Super Dirt. Yeah, there's no oil in any of these, it's just a spring, so the seal isn't going to make any difference whatsoever. It doesn't matter. What else can I oil up? I'm going to oil up everything. Oil up all that pull start, foot pegs, all the older brakes and the levers. Oil up that spring in there, why not? There's a little shock in there, a little ram. So I wonder if it will work any better now. I don't know if I better do it with one hand. I need 2 hands. Ready? No, need 2 hands to do it. They do work, trust me. You can see where I've had a bit of the rust come off where I pushed it down. Anyway, that little expansion chamber makes me laugh. Now these are pretty good little bikes. They go pretty quick as well. If it's going by the one my friend had, it got pretty quick. Pretty nippy little bike. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for now. Put all my tools away. And then I'm going to leave that to fester overnight. And I'll come back tomorrow, being Sunday, see if I can get that tyre pumped up, and I might go for a little joyride somewhere. Nice one.